Welcome to the Casuals Guide to UFC Fight Night Ribas vs Namajunas, where I show you filthy casuals why this card is going to be a banger. So smash that like button and let's get right into it. In the main event, the number 8 ranked flyweight Amanda Ribas takes on the former strawweight champion Rose Namajunas. Amanda is 12-4 in the UFC with 3 wins by decision and 4 by submission. She has been trading wins and losses in her last 6 fights. She has losses to Callan Chukagian, Marina Rodriguez, and Macy Barber. And she has decision wins over Verna Jandiroba and Viviane Araujo. In her latest fight against Luana Pinheiro, she would look super impressive, but she would lose the first round, but she would lock in and turn it up to win the second round, and eventually she would land the spinning wheel kick that hurt Luana. And some more damage later, she would finish the fight. Her hands have improved a ton since she first got into the UFC. Her defense is still a huge issue. She's well-rounded and she's going to have to be at her best when she faces Rose Namajunas. Rose was the champion at strawweight, and after losing the belt to Carla Esparza, she would move up and make her flyweight debut against Manon Fiorot in her most recent fight. She would be outmatched and would lose by unanimous decision. She is now facing a fighter who's very similar to her. Rose is a huge submission threat. 5 of her 11 wins are by submission. Her hands and footwork have improved over time, and I do believe this is a better fight for her than her last one. It's going to be a fun fight. Don't miss out. We get a fun bantamweight battle between 2 young prospects when Payton Talbott takes on Cameron MSP Saaiman. For the casuals who don't know these guys, get ready to take notes. Payton Talbott is super young at 25 years old. He is still very early into his career at 7-0. He won his contract on the Contender Series when he would beat Reyes Cortez by unanimous decision. He showed off his slick striking and produced some fun moments. He would make his UFC debut against Nick Aguirre. He is known for his striking, but got to show off his grappling when he locked in a rear naked choke in the 3rd round. He is up against another young prospect when he faces the 23-year-old Cameron Saaiman. Saaiman is 9-1 and he is a talent out of South Africa where he trains with Dricus du Plessis. He also won his UFC contract on the Contender Series with the knockout win over Josh Wang Kim. He made his UFC debut against Steven Kozlow where he would win by 3rd round TKO. He would follow that up with a split decision win over Mana Martinez. He would get another TKO win with the finish over Terrence Mitchell. In his most recent fight, he would drop a unanimous decision to Christian Rodriguez. He is super well-rounded. Both guys are very fun fighters and they are still super young. It sucks that one of these guys is going to have to lose, but with how young they are, it won't be the end of the world. A very fun fight between 2 exciting young fighters. Don't miss out. Edmen, the Golden Boy Shahbazyan, takes on AJ Dobson. The Golden Boy has had a rough time in the UFC lately. He has gone 5-4 in the UFC, and he has had some good highlight wins over Charles Byrd, Jack Marshman, Brad Tavares, and Dalcha Lungiambula. He also has some bad losses to Derek Brunson, to Jack Hermanson, Nasruddin Imavov. In his latest fight, he would get TKO'd by Anthony Hernandez. He has shown some great moments, but still has to sharpen up a bit. The best thing for him is his youth. He is still only 26 years old, and he's being matched up with AJ Dobson, who has stepped in on short notice for Dusko Todorovic. He made his UFC debut against Jacob Malkoun, where he would lose by unanimous decision, and he would drop another decision when he faced Armin Petrosian. He would get back on track when in his latest fight, he would win a unanimous decision over Tafon Nchukwi. Both guys are looking to find solid footing in the UFC and will probably do it on the feet. Don't miss out. Justin Bad Man Tafa returns the favor when he takes on Karl Williams. Justin Tafa is the older brother of Junior Tafa. He was originally going to fight Marcos Rogelio de Lima, but had to pull out before the fight, and his brother Junior stepped in and fought for him. Now Justin Tafa returns the favor and steps in on short notice against his brother's original opponent, Karl Williams. Karl Williams won his contract by beating Jimmy Lawson by decision on the Contender Series. He would make his UFC debut against Lucas Bresky, where he would win by unanimous decision. His latest fight, he would pick up another decision win over Chase Sermon. He is a big, strong guy who's willing to grapple if he needs to. This is going to be a fun fight between 2 big guys ready to throw down. Don't miss out. We get an underrated banger when El Valiente Fernando Padilla takes on Luis Corazon de Leon Pajuelo. Fernando Padilla is one of the young Mexican prospects in the UFC. I was super surprised that he was not on the Fight Night card in Mexico a couple weeks ago. So far, he is 1-1 in the UFC. He made his UFC debut in electric fashion when he would win by 1st round knockout against Julian Erosa. And he would drop his last fight by decision when he matched up against Kyle Nelson. He is still super young at 27 years old and still has a lot to learn. He will be welcoming Luis Pajuelo into the UFC. Luis won his contract on the Contender Series with a first round finish over Robbie Ring. He is 8-1 with 7 wins by knockout or TKO, and both guys are willing to bang. The 29-year-old Peruvian will be looking to start his UFC career with a bang, but the young Mexican will look to get back on track. Don't miss out. You casuals get a super underrated matchup when Billy Quarantillo takes on Gabriel Fly Miranda. Billy Q is an absolute machine. He is all go, no breaks. He can put on a nasty pace. He is 18-5 with 8 wins by knockout or TKO and 5 by submission. He is not only a striker, but he is an underrated grappler. He has gone 6-3 in the UFC so far, and he has some highlight wins over Kamala Kirk, Kyle Nelson, and Gabriel Benitez. His fight against Alexander Hernandez is a great summary of how Billy fights. He would lose the first round, but his pace and output started to slow Alex down. He would eventually drown him and TKO him in the second round. He would face a jumping competition against Edson Barboza where he would be outmatched. He would get knocked out via a well-timed knee by Edson. In his last fight, he will show off his striking and grappling against Damon Jackson. He is facing a huge submission threat in Gabriel Miranda. Miranda is 17-6 and 16 of his wins are by submission, which is actually kind of crazy. He made his UFC debut back in 2022 where he would be matched up with Benoit Saint-Denis. A super tough fight for your debut, but he would go toe-to-toe with him, but he would get hurt at the end of the first round and would get knocked out in the beginning of the second. In his last fight, he would get an impressive first round submission when he would lock in a rear naked choke against Shane Young. He is a bit reckless with his striking, but his grappling is just so dangerous. Billy Q can grapple with the best of them, but his ground game will be tested. This could easily turn into a brawl between two grapplers or a high-level grappling match. Either way, it's going to be fun and high-paced. Don't miss out. Alright guys, that was my rundown of UFC Fight Night Ribas versus Namajunas. I hope you casuals learned a thing or two. It's going to be a great night of fights. Don't forget to tune in. I'll see you next week for UFC Fight Night Blanchard versus Furo. But until then, protect your neck and take care.
They talking crazy about you. They said
brother,
they smash
who
you.
cares? Who cares, brother? Who cares, brother? Who cares? Today, smash.